ज्ञानात्मिदन्दस्य ज्ञानं जलं शलकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः नमो विष्णुपदाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्ता स्वामिनिति नामिने नमस्ते सरस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी प्रत्यक्षादिशतारिणे. C'est un point très important.
It is a very important point
que le plan supérieur
that
doit descendre sur le plan
the higher plane must go down towards the lower plane so that we can learn to detach ourselves, learn what is the higher plane. Friendship exists. It is good news. Love exists. We can have connections, relationships. In many spiritual paths, it is taught that we must destroy ourselves, not exist. To free ourselves, we must not exist anymore. Many think like this, to the point that the relationships are considered just like an obstacle towards spiritual advancement, that the attachment must be destroyed, desires must be destroyed, annihilated. Nothing else must exist. This is the supreme detachment according to them. Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Prabhupada taught, just like other acharyas as well, that we cannot destroy the desires, the qualities, because the soul has qualities. The soul has the possibility to have desires. But when the soul is cut from the absolute truth Krishna, then the soul expresses its desires in an improper way. It's easy to understand. Krishna is an ocean of qualities. So when we are in contact with an ocean of qualities, we cannot have wrong desires because it's too powerful. Then when we are disconnected from this ocean, we are frustrated, and from there, desires for ourselves are coming. And if we're not properly positioned, there will be desires that will destroy us. It's easy to understand. This is why attachment, which is in connection with the material body, can only generate material illusory desires. You understand? If there are desires, there's action. If there's action, there's reaction. There's attachment to matter. So through this activity, through fruitive activity, you must receive the law of birth and death, of the cycle of birth and death. It's not favorable for the living being. This is why the associates of the Lord must come down on this platform to teach us that relationships exist, that desire can exist, but connected to his kingdom, to his associates, and to himself, Krishna. And from there, these same spiritual desires will open the door to liberation. So, what the teachers are teaching us is to become friend with the Lord is the most natural thing, because he is in the heart, he is the supreme friend, and this is something that is very important. I was explaining that today in an audio in a book that I am writing. We need friends.
Mais dans ce monde,
But
parce
in
que les
this world,
amis
because
ne sont
friends
pas purs
are not pure
et libérés,
and
et surtout qu'ils
liberated,
sont limités,
and also they are
l'amitié
limited,
n'est jamais véritablement confortable.
friendship is never really always comfortable
Qui
because it's
a pu
limited.
véritablement vous donner
Who
pleine satisfaction?
was able to give us really full
C'est
satisfaction?
extrêmement difficile.
It's extremely difficult.
On peut avoir la
We
pleine
can have
satisfaction que sur un
full
niveau transcendantal.
satisfaction only on a
Même si un
transcendental
associé du
platform.
Seigneur
Even if an
viendrait,
associate of the Lord will come,
mais si on était dans un état contaminé,
if we'll be in a
on ne
contaminated state,
pourrait pas profiter de cette amitié.
we will not be able to receive that friendship with Him. It's not possible.
Parce que l'amitié, on
Because
peut
friendship, we can
pleinement en profiter
fully take
sur un plan
advantage of it
transcendantal
on a
qu'avec
transcendental
les sens
platform.
matériels, un corps matériel.
We cannot take it advantage with,
Excusez-moi, transcendantal.
we can only
Ça, c'est pas possible.
have that kind of
La
experience on a
vraie
transcendental
amitié
body
n'est
because real
vérifiée que
friendship
sur un plan
can
transcendantal.
only be tasted on a transcendental
Or,
platform.
le
But
Seigneur est
the
présent.
Lord is present.
Il est celui,
He is the one
Jivala Salvabhutana, qui accompagne l'être
who accompanies
dans
the
son
living being
corps.
in his body.
Les Upanishads
The
prennent
Upanishads take
l'exemple
the example
que le corps est comme un
that
arbre,
the body is just like a tree,
le monde matériel est comme un arbre,
the material world is just like a tree,
qui donne deux sortes de fruits.
who gives two kinds of fruits,
Les fruits vertueux et les fruits impieux.
the pious fruits
Il y a
and
un
the
oiseau
sinful
sur l'arbre
fruits.
qui
There's
picore,
one bird on the tree that eats the fruit,
il y en a un qui regarde.
and there's another one that looks at him, that observes him.
Tant que l'oiseau il picore,
As long as
il prend
the
les fruits
bird
du karma.
eats, he takes the fruits of karma.
Ça engendre une réaction.
It creates a reaction.
Or,
But
qu'est-ce que fait la réaction?
what does the reaction
Elle
do?
est semblable à des épines.
It is similar to thorns.
Ça fait du mal.
It hurts.
On n'est pas heureux, on souffre.
We're not happy, we suffer.
On se sent déconnecté.
We
de la
feel
vérité.
disconnected from the absolute truth.
On peut essayer tout ce qu'on veut.
We can try everything we want,
Partir, sur une île paradisiaque.
live on
Il n'y a rien qui marche.
a perfect island. Nothing will work because it happens in the heart. It does not happen outside. All the materialist person, they think, I'll go there, I'll find happiness. It's completely false. It will only be another frustration. The problem is in the heart. It's because there is no connection with the truth, with the friend, with us, the one who can truly understand us and accompany us and heal our wounds. It's a lack of faith because we put more importance to travel, to find shelter somewhere else than looking in the heart. This is what we call the Kanishta Bhakta, the platform of the materialist devotee. The materialist Bhakta, he thinks he will find something outside. Madhyam, he took this resolution, there's nothing externally, everything happens inside. Because there is the phenomenon of the experience. Since he is experiencing inside, he has no faith whatsoever in the outside. For that, it does not suffer. Because reality becomes inside. Knowledge comes from inside, reality, truth, love comes from inside. Association comes from inside. Friendship comes from inside. And from this experience, so but the outside never takes over the inside. It's that the inside goes outside, and then he perceives, as soon as the outside goes over our inside life, inner life, will be deceived, disappointed. It's like that all day long. Everything is imperfect in this world. You spend your whole time looking at faults. And there's no solution. The only solution is suicide. Or you spend your time changing place, find someone, and oh, he's good, and then oh, he's not so good, and then it's the same. And some people, they divorce like that 10 times, 20 times, 30 times. But
celui qui a réglé le
the
problème
one
dans son
who
existence
solved the problem of his
en entrant en
existence
lui-même,
by entering
en
inside of
étant
him,
connecté à la
by
mission.
being
Il n'a plus
connected to the
besoin de
mission,
femmes, d'hommes,
he
de
does not
société
need
pour trouver l'équilibre.
woman or man to find
C'est
balance.
fini.
It's
L'équilibre,
finished.
il est atteint.
Balance is attained
Parce que personne ne peut donner l'équilibre.
because nobody can give balance to anybody.
Tout ce que vous pouvez faire,
The only thing you
c'est
can
apporter
do
votre souffrance à quelqu'un.
is to bring your suffering to someone
Et
else.
alors, qu'est-ce qu'il va en faire la personne?
What will that person do with
Quel
your suffering?
pouvoir
What
une
power
personne
as a
de vous
person
libérer de votre
to
karma
free you from your
si
karma
elle-même
if that
est un
person
pur dévot?
is not a pure
Par
devotee?
contre,
But
l'ami à l'intérieur peut vous aider.
the friend inside of you can help you.
C'est ça notre foi.
This is our
Notre
faith.
foi, c'est que
Our
Krishna est
faith is that
suprêmement pur.
Krishna is supremely pure.
C'est lui qui est à
He
l'origine de la
is
loi du karma.
the origin of
C'est
the
lui
law
qui est
of
à
karma.
l'origine des univers
He is the
matériels.
origin of the material universe.
C'est lui qui est à l'origine de son royaume
He is the
transcendantal.
origin of
C'est lui
his
qui est à l'origine de
transcendental
tous ses
kingdom.
associés.
He is the origin of his
Dans
associates.
Sarvasya Prabhava, tout émane de lui.
Everything
Il est
emanates from
l'homme
him
spirituel.
in the spiritual world.
C'est lui qui peut vous aider.
He can help you.
Et bien sûr,
Of course,
Krishna vient sous
Krishna
la forme de
comes
son représentant,
with the form of his representative, the Bhakta, for those who cannot see him inside. But what does the pure devotee does? He teaches others to enter inside of them.
Vous ne trouverez pas de
You will
solution.
not find any solutions outside.
La vie spirituelle, ça veut dire à l'intérieur.
Spiritual life means inner
Tout ce qu'on
life.
fait, des activités,
Everything we
que ce
do,
soit
all the
distribution
activities,
des livres,
whether
distribution
it is
prashad,
distributing
chanter sa
books,
nom,
prasadam,
c'est
chanting the
pour nous
holy name,
permettre
it is
que
to
Krishna
allow
soit satisfait
for Krishna
et
to be
qu'il permet
satisfied
d'entrer à
and that
l'intérieur.
he allows us to
Krishna est
enter inside
satisfait,
of
qu'est-ce
us.
qu'il fait?
When
Coucou,
Krishna
je
is
suis là.
satisfied, what does he do? He says, "Hey, Cuckoo, I'm there.
Coucou, je suis là.
I'm there."
C'est parti.
And then
Une fois que vous avez
it
cette
starts.
expérience,
Once you have this experience,
c'est fini.
it's finished.
Alors bien sûr, Krishna,
Of
il vient
course,
pas d'un
Krishna
seul coup tout le temps.
does not
Il
come
chante, il fait coucou, si tu veux me revoir, faut que tu fasses
completely.
ça.
He comes a little bit, say, "Cuckoo, I'm here. If you want me to come again, you have to do
Mais
this."
c'est pas facile, hein.
But it's not easy,
C'est
huh?
pas facile de
It's
faire
not
ça.
easy to do this.
Alors Krishna dit rien.
So Krishna says
Et puis le dévot,
says nothing, and then the
il va dire,
devotee
bon, je vais le faire,
says,
c'est
"Oh,
dur.
I'll do it. It's difficult."
Mais bon,
But
dès qu'on goûte Krishna un tout petit
as
peu,
soon
on
as
peut
we
pas faire
taste Krishna
autrement
even a
que
little
de
bit,
faire ce qui-
we cannot do otherwise but
même si
just
c'est dur,
doing what
si
He likes
tout le
us to
monde
do.
va nous critiquer,
Even if everybody
même si
criticizes
tout
us,
nous échappe, on n'a pas
if
le choix.
even if we are powerless, we have no
Et
choice
puis,
because
dès
we
qu'il
want to
voit
see
que
Him
c'est trop
again.
dur,
And
Krishna,
as soon as He sees it's too
je
difficult,
suis là,
then He comes back again and says, "I'm there,"
puis il disparaît.
and then He disappears.
Mais c'est ça l'accompagnement de Krishna.
This is how Krishna accompanies us.
Dévot par sa beauté,
He subjugates, He attracts us by His beauty,
et en même temps,
and at the same time,
que tout vient du dévot.
He wants that everything comes from the devotee. It has to come from us. He does everything. He shows
Le dévot
Himself.
perd le désir matériel,
The devotee loses his material
il a
desires.
le désir de revoir
He has the desire to see
Krishna.
Krishna
Et à partir
again,
de là, il peut
and
tout
from
faire
there,
sans vouloir rien
he
en
cannot.
même,
He can do everything without being attached to the results.
il s'en fout.
Whether he is guru, he has thousands
Il
of
veut
disciples, he
simplement
doesn't
voir
care.
Krishna.
He just wants to see
Il a
Krishna.
goûté l'amour de
He
Krishna,
tasted
voilà.
Krishna's
Tout
love,
simplement
prema. He just
être
wants
de nouveau avec Krishna.
to be with Krishna again.
Ça, c'est un dévot.
This is a devotee.
Avant, il y a beaucoup de pièges.
Before, there's a lot of
C'est
traps.
très difficile.
It's very difficult
Krishna nous donne un pouvoir
because
avant
Krishna gives us a power before to speak well,
de faire un bon puja, d'être
to
bon
do a nice
cuisinier.
puja, to be a good
Quand
cook.
quelqu'un va dire, ah, c'est bon.
When someone will say, it's good,
Bah ouais. Je dirais pas qui c'est qui l'a cuisiné.
I won't say who cooked, but
Comprenez?
you understand?
Ah, tu chantes bien.
Oh, you chant very nicely.
Ou alors dire, oh,
Oh,
c'est impossible d'échapper à ça.
it's impossible to get out of this. Why? Because
Comme notre désir
since our
d'être avec
desire
Krishna, il est pas
to be
assez
with Krishna
puissant,
is not powerful
et
enough,
qu'il y a une forme
and that there's a
d'illusion.
form of
Quand
illusion in
Krishna
us,
nous donne
when
quelque
Krishna
chose,
gives us
on se
something,
l'approprie.
we appropriate ourselves this thing. We take proprietorship. We cannot do otherwise. It's difficult. But
En même temps,
in the same time,
quand on dit ouais, ouais,
at the
ouais,
same time, when we say, "Oh yes, I want this. We feel it's not good because Krishna, he makes us feel that way because he's looking at us. He looks at us in a way that we cannot see him, but we feel because he is present in the heart. We're forced to do it because we're not pure, and at the same time, it makes us feel that it's not a good thing, so we can progress. But a materialist, he cannot because he does not feel he is doing a mistake. This is what is important. It's that Krishna gives his help to everyone. The one who is a pure devotee, it is because his desire is pure. If the desire is pure, it means he saw Krishna. For we need the experience of Krishna if we want to have pure desires. For example, we see devotees fall down. But why do they fall down? You think if they saw the truth, they will fall down? No, it's not possible. It's because they never saw the truth. Someone who saw the truth, he does not fall down because his desire is pure. But someone can fall down and then come back again because Krishna helps his devotee to repent, to purify his heart. But the one who saw Krishna, he cannot fall down. It's not possible because he attained perfection. When he acts, he does not act independently from Krishna. Krishna is always with him. Krishna speaks to him, like I'm speaking to you. Even though he does something people don't understand, he can be criticized by others, he will not fall down. Everyone will say he will fall down, but it does not fall. It doesn't even touch him because this is the nature of a bhakta. The bhakta, he acts only upon the orders of the Supreme Lord. He's not independent. He depends constantly from the Lord. And the Lord is his friend. And a friend protects someone that is weaker. This is the nature of friendship. So, on a superior platform, the devotee can even feel he is superior to Krishna. We see in Arjuna, Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, he says that in his dialogue in Bhagavad Gita, he says that Arjuna was even thinking that Krishna could not fight with one only warrior. That's why when he saw the universal form, Arjuna, he asked for forgiveness because I thought you could not fight anybody, but now I ask for forgiveness. I realize your strength. And Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, he reveals something extraordinary. He says, he gave inferior senses to Arjuna, this demigod senses, but not a mind of the demigod. So it means Arjuna was seeing that, the universal form, but he always had the mind of a devotee. So at some point, Krishna is telling him, now you will meditate on my universal form. He said, oh Krishna, I saw it, please. It's not forcibly what I want. It's not really, I would like to see your form with two arms. It's so much full of rasa, full of feelings, Bhagavad Gita. At the same time, it explains the highest truth. What is the soul? What is the Supreme Lord? Time, who pushes people to act, action, the influences of the three gunas, these five main topics. And at the same time, it's a loving relationship that is so intimate that what can people understand? At some point, Krishna says, I am the Supreme Lord. And it's true, because all the scriptures, the Vedic scriptures say that Krishna is God. And he tells it directly also. Jesus did not say he was God, he said he was the Son. Mahomet never said he was God, he said he was the Son. All the Vedas,
donne cette conclusion.
give this conclusion.
Le but des Védas,
The goal of Vedas is to love God.
c'est une réalité.
It's a reality.
En même temps, Krishna dit,
But at the same time, Krishna said, Bhavanam Chamanamante, it's very difficult to come to this conclusion
parce que mes agissements
because my
vont
actions,
au-delà de toute conception.
they go, because his actions, they go beyond all conceptions.
Énoncer la plus grande vérité.
Krishna can speak the highest truth,
Jouer avec mon Dieu.
but at the same time, he can play with his devotee.
Krishna, parfois,
Krishna, sometimes,
il parle de lui
he speaks about
comme une
himself
personne autre,
just like a high person, like a superior person, and sometimes he speaks like he is just a servant. People are confused because truth is giving free will to everybody. Krishna will never come and say, I am the Lord. If you don't accept, I'll destroy everything. You understand? He could, if he wanted to. He could take a forms with millions of kilometers and swallow everything. This is what he did with Arjuna. He made him show that he was he was death personified, and that all the warriors were entering in his mouths and getting eaten. And Arjuna said, "Whoa, this is a terrifying form." It is a possibility. Why are people in the material universe? It's because they want independence from God. So this independence, he must let it go in 100% because Krishna is the Supreme Lord. How does this independence finish? It finishes in Krishna because when we went all around the material universe, we became completely frustrated. We tried everything, it didn't work. Then at that time we turned towards Krishna. That's why people travel. People are looking where there is not. They'll go everywhere to find, thinking every time in every life I'll find my happiness. There's no possibility whatsoever of finding that joy because the soul is not made for these kinds of traveling. The soul is made for one thing, love of God, bliss, this personal relationship. That's what the soul needs. For example, people pray to God, but are they stopping having friends? Loving their parents, loving their children? No, because it's natural. But why are they not doing it with the Lord? It's because they don't understand that this relationship is possible with the Lord. Because in His kingdom, Krishna takes out His divinity so that His devotees can have this relationship with Him. This is why these relationships, they exist also on the spiritual platform. That's what people need to discover. And as long as they have desires, it is not possible. This is why Krishna makes arrangements so that people go to paradise. He says, the flowery language of the Vedas attract these living beings full of desires who want to find enjoyment on this planet. They can have heavenly bodies and experience so much more pleasure. People who have desires, they aspire for this. I will serve God, I will fear God, and then after that I will enjoy. But this is not the highest conception. It exists. It is given by the Lord. It is legitimate for those who want it. That is true. Like certain wants the impersonal liberation to merge into Brahman. It exists. The Brahman is the effulgence of the Supreme Lord. But there exists a higher plane where we can love God in an unlimited way because the Lord wants that. When the experience of Krishna is present, so love, unlimited love, is experienced. But what does that mean, unlimited love? It means we do not need anything for ourselves. We just need to exist for Him. And since His nature is to reciprocate with the living being, the Lord, For such a devotee, he exists only for his devotee.
C'est ça la véritable
This
harmonie,
is the true harmony,
le véritable amour.
true love.
C'est un plan
It's a platform
très
which
difficilement
is very
atteignable.
difficult to attain because
Ça veut dire que le
it
Seigneur
means that the Lord
devient en
becomes,
quelque sorte
in
le
some way,
subalterne de son dévot.
subordinate to his devotee.
Donc,
So
on peut comprendre par nous-mêmes
we can understand by ourselves
qu'on ne se donne pas comme ça.
that we cannot give ourselves like that so easily.
Une personne
We need to find that
qui soit
person.
le réceptacle de notre confiance.
Someone must be the recipient of our
Pour que
trust.
Krishna puisse venir
So for Krishna to come with
se
us
donner à nous,
and give
il faut que
himself to
notre
us,
désir soit pur.
our desire
C'est
must be
pourquoi
pure. This is
c'est
why
possible
it is possible
à travers une pratique pure,
through a
à
pure
travers une
practice,
association pure,
through a pure
à travers une
association,
connaissance qui est
through
pure,
pure
qui
knowledge,
traite
which
de la
speaks
forme,
about the form,
du nom,
the name,
qualité du
the
divertissement du
qualities
Seigneur.
of the pastimes of the Lord.
Graduellement, le
Gradually, the desire will become pure. Why?
parce que l'expérience à
Because the
travers la
experience
connaissance de
through
la nature
the
matérielle
knowledge of the material
va
world
quelque peu
will somehow
et graduellement de
and
plus en plus
gradually, more and more,
nous faire
make us
pourrir nos désirs matériels.
rotten our
Il y a
material
une
desires.
déception quand il y a la
There's a
connaissance.
deception when there's knowledge.
Et naturellement,
And naturally,
cette déception
this
va
deception
nous pousser
will
à
push
prendre
us
refuge dans le
to take
Seigneur.
shelter in the
Parce que
holy
la
name
connaissance
because
est sur
knowledge
deux plans.
is on two
Elle
planes.
déçoit et elle nous permet d'être comme un phare et d'accepter un
It,
désir
it allows us to be like a fair, like a light, and develop a pure desire. And then the Lord will reciprocate. When the experience is there,
On peut plus revenir en arrière.
we cannot go back
L'expérience matérielle ne peut pas,
over again in the past
elle n'a pas le pouvoir.
because there's no material experience that can give us more satisfaction than that.
C'est pas possible.
We can't go back anymore.
C'est pourquoi
It's finished.
il faut garder la foi
This is why we must keep faith
et
and
graduellement
gradually
avancer,
to advance,
tolérer.
tolerate.
Et c'est important de bien
But it is
étudier.
important to study
Si
properly.
vous abandonnez l'étude,
If we
à un
abandon
moment, vous
study,
serez confus.
at some point we'll be confused.
Si vous étudiez pas, vous
If
serez
we do not
confus.
study, we'll be confused
Parce que vous n'aurez pas
because we will not have
le moyen
the mean
de comprendre votre
to understand our
pourquoi
environment.
les choses se passent ainsi.
Why are things working
Pourquoi
like
je
that?
suis pas bien?
Why am I not
Pourquoi
feeling
les
good?
êtres autour de
Why
moi
livings,
sont comme ça,
beings
sont
around me
comme
are
ça,
like this or
sont
like
comme
that?
cela.
Why this, why
Il y a
that?
besoin de connaissances.
We
Il
need
faut
knowledge.
nourrir l'intellect
We must nourish the
à travers la
intellect
connaissance
with
transcendantale
true transcendental knowledge
pour qu'on puisse avoir la
so that we can have the discrimination
continuer à avancer.
to continue to advance, to walk the path, and not be taken over again by the nature of the mind, which just wants to
Arrêter sur la fausse nature des êtres.
who just wants to
Développer une fausse nature.
make us develop a false nature and be focused on the false nature of living beings. We need an intelligence that can control the mind and the senses. That's very important. And if the intelligence is virtuous,
Le Seigneur pourrait être très
so the Lord can be really close to us.
Alors,
And at some point, we will be able to realize the nature of the soul. Thank you very much.